She comes with a hairbrush, a pocketbook, and 2 different dresses.
Oh my God, who the hell cares?
Perhaps the only thing more annoying than Taylor Swift is her fan base, the Swifties. For some reason, our pathological, depraved culture has decided to hyperfixate on her newest doomed-to-fail relationship, which she will inevitably write a song about afterward, with a football player named Travis Kelce. And before I get into why Taylor Swift is the ultimate modern woman who is corrupting the minds of tens of millions of young women across this country, let me just make it clear that we could all be focusing our collective brain power on an issue that's actually important. Instead of this culture focusing on Taylor Swift's stupid, dumb relationship, we could be thinking about how many people offed themselves today. How tragic that is. How we need better mental health services in this country. Or, alternatively, we could be thinking about how many Middle Eastern children are getting blown open today. The cruel and unrelenting nature of war. But instead, Taylor and her relationship will take center stage. For some reason, this culture is so sick that it has decided it is perfectly fine to devote inordinate amounts of attention to someone who provides no discernible value to the rest of the world. Really, the only decent thing a person can say about Taylor's impact and legacy on the world is that she provides certain kickbacks from her home state. She's a philanthropist for Tennessee. And what's worse is these Swifties, these fans of Taylor, are some of the worst people you've ever met. Rob Gronkowski, the famous tight end from formerly glorious New England, had to walk back his statements after he said that people were focusing too much on Taylor and her relationship with a football player instead of the game of football itself. Because Swifties were so rabid, were going after him so mercilessly, so doggedly, this shrieking horde of histrionic, deranged women.
I'm drunk in the back of the car, and I cry like a baby coming out from the bar. I'm my mother position. I don't want to keep secrets just to keep you alive. So I kept in the guarantee every night that summer just to steal my face. I scream for whatever it's worth. I love you, ain't no the worst thing you ever heard. He looks so pretty like a devil is you.
My deepest sympathies for the man this young woman managed to drag to a Taylor Swift concert. Never have a more vapid, vacuous, empty-headed group of people walked the face of the earth than these Swifties. Their entire personalities are built around being fangirls for Taylor Swift, who herself is a vapid, empty, vacuous person. There is no reason any person should receive this much praise, adulation, and money for doing what Taylor Swift has done.
Clap back, oh my God, what, slay queen.
So Taylor Swift is wonderful in every way.
As I said before, the biggest issue with Taylor Swift is not who she is, but the fact she is a distraction from all the real problems in the world. And a negative one at that. She's gotten to the point where she's just famous for being famous. And to really get into Taylor Swift's impact on our culture, she pumps out endless mediocre propaganda reinforcing the idea that men have failed. This is anti-male propaganda. It is all about infecting the minds of young girls. It is targeted and marketed to young girls. It's very subtle, like a frog in a pot waiting to boil. You really don't notice it until it's too late. But she is reinforcing this idea that men are evil and terrible to young women. Breakup anthem after breakup anthem, she is reinforcing these negative stereotypes because of all of her own failed relationships. And what's worse is the ridiculous, quasi-religious fan base that her and her PR team have managed to cultivate. Just eat this stuff right up.
But these women in the stands, holy shit. You talk about terrifying yet inspired? That was how I felt. They were full-ass adult women having crying panic attacks. I don't think I've seen anything like this before. It was kind of weird. But I will say,
yeah, you're right. It was kind of weird. It's kind of weird that you're a grown adult having this reaction to a person you've never met before in your entire life. Almost like you're obsessed, almost like you idolatrously worship this person. And the reports of young women fainting or having these ridiculous, over-the-top reactions don't stop here. I'm sure you've seen them in the news, on the Daily Telegraph or something, talking about fans who go to this most recent concert of hers, which I guess is supposed to be like summative of her entire career, having meltdowns and forgetting where they were or what happened or other crazy stuff like that. It really almost reminds me of these Victorian era warnings or statements about how, you couldn't show a woman, a lady, anything remotely controversial or disturbing, or else she'd just fall into a dead faint. If there is any single proof that men and women are different and that biological sex is a meaningful distinction, then it's this. You do not see men acting in a mass scale this way. The only man who's freaking out over Taylor is a man who likes other men. I mean, just look at this stuff. Even boomers were taking notice. And let me just say what I really hate about Swifties. Taylor Swift is the manifestation of the collective psyche of every white woman in this country who is between the ages of 13 and 25, all just put together and smashed into one person. Everything that is wrong with your average modern woman, her delusion about her self-image, her self-importance, her standards, it was first wrong with Taylor Swift. Taylor is the gateway to this stuff. Just as some normie conservative commentator like Ben Shapiro is the gateway into the red pill, Taylor Swift is the gateway into the blue pill for tens of millions of young women. She went from being a little plain Jane every woman in a small town, a little girl singing about how she was so sad she got overlooked by the popular boy. Oh, hey, isn't that so relatable? Average young white woman in a small town, isn't that so relatable? Don't you find that so conveniently familiar? To being a loose modern woman who dances on a chair in front of millions of people. I don't know about you, but when I first saw this video, I had the urge to just start throwing dollar bills at her. And before you say anything, that was a joke, and it's really not so far from being the case, actually. Everything this woman does is a shameless cash grab. Did you know that there is now a movie about her concert? A movie about a concert, because women in this country are so spineless and lacking in personality that this is something that enough of them would go to see that it's even financially viable. Legitimately, this is one of the most decadent things I've ever heard of. A movie about a concert. I can't believe this thing actually exists. This thing nearly even came to a movie theater near me, but the producers or whoever owns the rights to this film wanted to hike the price of tickets higher than my local theater was comfortable with. Again, everything about this woman is a shameless, decadent, materialistic cash grab. And this little chair dance thing here is so contrived, she's just trying to adopt this I'm all grown up now persona. But seriously, this is really the sort of image that she is promoting to tens of millions of women across this country. First, let's examine the mediocre mind of your average Swiftie.
So I just want to take a second to touch base on what happened with Taylor last night, because it quite literally has made me sick to my stomach, but also enraged.
If you find yourself unable to sit through all of this, I don't blame you. This is one of the most basic and annoying women I've ever seen.
So for those of you who don't know, Taylor was at a wedding last night, and when they were at a restaurant, there were fans, and I say that very lightly, bombarding the building, pushed up against the side, pretty much crawling through the windows and chanting her name as if she's some sort of fucking zoo animal. These people are not fans. These people do not care about her mental health, her mental well-being, her safety, or her as a person at all.
But you specifically do. You surely do, as an OG Swiftie, who has taken time out of your day to talk about this issue instead of, say, the children being blown apart in Gaza, or everyone who has caught the bus.
And y'all wonder why OG Swifties are getting pissed off at these types of people who are now getting tickets to the shows, and it's disgusting behavior. She's a human being, and if you were actually a fan of hers, you would have probably seen the Miss Americana documentary by now, and probably would have seen that she said outright that she hates that shit. She literally thinks it's weird. It makes her feel weird. She does not like it. Yet y'all, for whatever reason, keep continuing to do it.
On a side note, I really hate how white people who aren't Southerners have begun to appropriate the word y'all from Black Americans and white Southerners. It's just so annoying to listen to. But of course, instead of just keeping this short, straight, and to the point, this Swiftie has to tell all these new Swifties that they aren't real Swifties because they didn't watch some stupid documentary where Taylor Swift, like any normal, sane, rational human being, says she doesn't like being harassed. But honestly, what can she expect when she cultivates a fan base of people like this?
At this point, I wouldn't be surprised if after this tour ends, she takes her money and runs the fuck away and hides and never shows her face again. Because at this point, why wouldn't she?
Because she is a media construct, a media sensation, a cultural icon, a cash cow, and as long as she's willing to fool airheads like this woman into believing that she's some sort of good person who's worth devoting your time and attention to, she's going to keep it up because she's just milking you suckers for cash. $1,200 something to go to one of her concerts? That's probably worth more than your paycheck, if we're being honest. The average person, that's probably worth more than one of their paychecks.
You guys treat her like she belongs in a cage. Like, she's a fucking human being. And those of us who have been there since day one have a relationship with her that's different than these bandwagoners that have hopped on and who just want a picture of her so they can get attention on the internet. Because let's be real, that's all this is about. If you were a fan before 2016, up until 2016, like whatever, the relationship that the OG Swifties made with Taylor was different.
I am astounded right now that this isn't satire, that this woman can say this with a straight face.
She creeped us on social media because she wanted to know about our lives. We created these safe relationships with her, and she trusted us. We took years to build that trust, to let her know that we had her best interest at heart, and y'all are coming in and fucking ruining it. Like, you're ruining it. I'm so genuinely worried about her well-being and her heart and where her mind is at in all of this.
Why not worry about children dying in the Middle East right now, or people catching the bus, or, I don't know, homeless veterans or something? Literally anything more important, which is of more consequence than this. This woman's a billionaire, and you're worried about her emotional well-being. Get real.
And, like, it makes me want to cry, honestly. Like, I just want to give her the biggest hug because, like, yes, she's the most famous person in the world right now, but like I said, she's still very much human, and, like, nobody deserves to be treated that way. So if you want to sit there and call yourself a Taylor Swift fan, grow the hell up. Stop chasing her car down. Stop following her into restaurants. Like, she was probably so embarrassed. She can't even attend her friend's wedding without people standing outside of a building screaming, Taylor, like, come on, guys. Y'all are gonna know it when, like I said, she disappears and never shows her face again. And there will be no one to blame but your damn self.
Oh, she told them, didn't she? This old Swiftie sure did tell those young cubs. All these people desperately trying to find meaning in their lives by being loud, obnoxious fangirls. So many millions of Americans are wrapped up in the shallow cult of leading personalities known as celebrities, and it's quite sad.
I know everyone is super excited about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce. Everyone's like, oh my God, he's the one. Oh my God, they're going to get married. And I'm like, are we serious? Because she just met him. She's known him for 2 weeks? So let's calm down. And plus, I always had this theory that there are 3 things that Taylor needs in a partner. And I've never seen anybody check off all 3 boxes. She's had exes who maybe checked off 1 or 2, but never anyone who checked off all 3. So the past few weeks, I spent more hours than I like to admit looking into this Travis Kelce guy, because I have no idea who he is. Because that's what I choose to do with my bedtime procrastination. But anyways, everything I learned about this guy convinces me without a shadow of a doubt in my mind that he is the one. He checks off all 3 boxes. He's the one.
Not even 2 brain cells to rub together, this woman has. And I've seen evangelicals online and conspiracy theory oriented people online suggesting that Taylor Swift is actually a secret Luciferian Satanist witch summoning demons in her concerts because of this devil mask and some other stuff she's done. And honestly, who isn't already in the entertainment industry at this point? That's part of why our culture is so sick and demented, is because we all have bad role models who promote bad values. But what I've always seen these evangelicals who say these things neglect to mention is the fact that the most harmful aspect of Taylor Swift's message is the fact that she promotes this Yas Queen, boss babe lifestyle. Yeah, sis, Yeah, boss babe, get that bag, girl. And she's gotten that bag. She is a billionaire, and she's still miserable. My girlfriend even admitted this to me straight up. We were watching the Dolphins-Patriots game the other day, and because we were talking about football, the topic of Taylor Swift came up because she's dating a football player now. And my girlfriend said, any man who dates Taylor Swift, she's basically got their balls in her purse. Because she earns more, she's more famous, and she's more respected than they are. That's how big Taylor Swift is. No man can ever provide for her because she's a billionaire, so no man will ever be enough. And that is why she is doomed to eternally move from failed relationship to failed relationship, writing breakup anthem after breakup anthem, making more money that'll just make her less happy in the long run. But if you don't believe me, let's hear from Mr. Ridiculous Facts and Logic himself on this one.
Well, folks, apparently there's a person named Taylor Swift, and she's dating some dude named Travis Kelce, and I'm supposed to care. Why do people care about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce? I mean, I just don't understand. So this is eating up my Twitter feed. Every Instagram post is about Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce, and I don't understand why I'm supposed to care. I don't. I mean, Taylor Swift is famous for literally writing a song about how she has a giant list of men that she has dated. So this is another person on the list of men that she is dating, and they're not going to end up married. I mean, I hate to break it to you, they're not going to. And if I'm wrong, okay, then I will send them a bouquet of flowers at their wedding. But so far, she's dated like 1,000 men, and she's married none of them.
I don't even like Ben Shapiro at all, but he's really hit the nail on the head here. Taylor Swift is antithetical to all traditional values. She is the opposite of a traditional woman.
And the reason for that is because the prospect of single, free and clear Taylor dating men is very lucrative. You know what happens when she gets married? She loses money. Okay, our incentive-laden society has basically decided that women who settle down and have a happy marriage are less valuable, at least when it comes to pop culture, than women who date a lot.
Bag chaser Ben Shapiro's money mindset. He hits the nail on the head here again. Being a traditional woman is financially disincentivized by our culture. We now have a very ruthless, cynical, capital-oriented culture. Nothing now is lucrative about being a stay-at-home mom. That is actively disincentivized. That's not very boss babe of you that you want to stay home and take care of the kids.
Now, maybe that's because there is the allure of, well, maybe she'll date you next. She's not going to date you, bro. Not going to happen. So what do you care? And as far as this sort of, well, she is with a football player, and it's the all-American couple. It's a singer and a football player, and wow. I mean, first of all, the fact that the NFL is falling for this, it's going to be super fun when she dumps him, and then she turns out to be like a basketball fan or something.
What could it mean if Taylor Swift's a basketball fan?
That's gonna be amazing. But also, the fact that we're all supposed to pin our hopes for the romantic future on Taylor Swift and Travis Kelce seems perverse to me. I don't know why in the world anyone would like form their idea of romance around Taylor Swift, who again has dated everyone from like Jake Gyllenhaal to John Mayer to every member of the Backstreet Boys, some members of the I don't know what the story is. In any case, entire piece in the Washington Post today: Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce, and a monoculture yearning for romance. Travis isn't quite right. Kelswift isn't much better. Travlor is a pharmaceutical jingle waiting to happen. Tasty is nonsense. Celsi sounds like an off-brand antacid. So what should we call them? That paragraph was a test. Surely you understand it, provided you are part of the human population. But for those of you who for whatever reason aren't, Taylor Swift showed up at a football game to cheer on Chiefs star tight end Travis Kelce. After a week of national tittering and wishing and hoping that these two might be right for each other, Swift showed up again Sunday night at MetLife Stadium for Sunday Night Football.
Lord, why do I even know this is happening? I'm reluctant to even follow the news because I'll just be forced to absorb some factoid like this about some people who I don't care about. This is surely a punishment for my sins.
The sight of the planet's most famous pop star jumping and yelling, "Let's effing go," as one of the NFL's most talented and charismatic players scores a touchdown would cause a commotion if we were living in normal times. But it's 2023, so this budding romance story has consumed every corner of the internet: sports media, non-sports media, sports betting apps, cable news segments, memes, and text messages, from dads to daughters announcing, "Have you seen this?" During the September 24th game, Fox announcers gleefully dubbed the Swift-Kelce pairing as the romance we all need. It feels like it's right for America.
What about either of these people is actually spiritually fulfilling? This really just showcases how debased and hollow this country has become, morally speaking.
Okay, so first of all, I'm just going to point out that Taylor Swift faking enthusiasm for things is part of her brand. And if you watch the MTV Video Music Awards, like any of it, they were playing some of the crappiest music imaginable, and she was smiling and dancing along like she actually cared. So do I actually think that this is a thing? I mean, I understand it. I hope that the NFL is paying her royally for this.
So do I, Ben. So do I. I really hope a billionaire is getting her money's worth out of this fake relationship. Anyways, I hate Taylor Swift. I hope you do too. This video should have pushed you over the edge and convinced you why Taylor Swift is a terrible role model for America's women. And if it didn't, and if you're a Swiftie watching this, I just want to tell you again that you're brainwashed. I'm honestly shocked, if you're a Swiftie, that your attention span has lasted all the way to the end of this video. Quite impressive, actually. But I still want to say, you're vapid and annoying. Anyway, that's it for this video, and Red Channels will catch you in the next one.